Hi all, it's Lath at AccessReel. We're down here at Supanova. We're talking to Summer Glau. Summer, how you going?
Wonderful, thank you. How are you?
I'm good. You're a veteran of Supanovas now. I think you must have covered every major city in Australia, is that right?
But it's never enough.
Never enough?
I always want more.
Are you as much a fan of the conventions in the US as well as here?
I am. I was just telling a story in a Q&A that I got my passport to go to a convention in England.
Right? Yeah.
I had never been overseas before, and I got my passport and was able to see so many beautiful places in the world because of this amazing fan base. It's absolutely changed my life. I'm so grateful.
That's awesome. Now, you've previously spoken about your career starting out as a ballerina, and you had an injury there and refocused your efforts into performance and acting. Was acting something that you had already thought about as well, or was that something that you came up with a bit later?
It sounds very strange, but I always, since I was a little girl, had a feeling that I was going to be an actress.
Yeah.
Which is funny. I was really a shy, quiet girl, and I danced very seriously, and that was my first passion, and I did that professionally right up until I auditioned for Firefly.
Okay.
And it's just one of those things. I asked my parents if I could move to LA, and I didn't have any experience or any reason to think that I would be successful other than just that voice telling me that was what I was supposed to do. And when I first got to LA, I must admit, I asked my parents if we could turn around, and I said, I'll pay for the gas and I'll pay for the hotels if we can just turn around and never mention this again. And they told me no.
Right.
So thankfully, here I am.
Well, it went fairly well.
It did, you know.
I just wanted to touch on a show that tragically ended, before its time. Of course, I'm talking about the Sarah Connor Chronicles.
Oh.
That was.
I've had a few of those, haven't I?
But how exciting was that when that was getting going? That was a big franchise that was already out there, and they were going for that really high film quality, production value, and action set pieces, and it was a great looking show. Well, how exciting was that? And was that a hard shoot because of the ambition behind the project?
It was. Thank you for phrasing it that way. It's interesting. I went from doing Serenity, all the stunts and all the fight scenes that I trained for months to do, to Terminator, which was in a series format, and oftentimes we didn't have time to rehearse fights.
Yeah. And
playing a Terminator, there were so many breakaway objects on set, and sometimes they would say, "Don't worry, just punch at it and it'll explode." And every once in a while, I'd punch into something that was not breakaway. So that was one of the trials of doing so many stunts so quickly.
Yeah.
But it was thrilling. I loved it, and I have to say,
it was a great show. It was
so much fun to play a Terminator, and I really liked how the show. I think worked even for the hardcore Terminator fans. It was different. It was formatted for television, and it was told in I think a little bit more dramatic and almost poetic way, and I really. And
it had more time to really flesh out a lot of the intimate plot details, and something that you don't get to do in a movie so much because you've just got so much more screen time. But
so true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you mentioned doing your fight choreography on Firefly and Serenity. You had big fighting roles on Sarah Connor, as well as Arrow. Does all that different training and fight choreography and different styles that they want you to put on display, does that get jumbled up as you're doing it, or how does that go?
Well, every once in a while, even with all the training that I've done and all the experience I have with it, the very first time you get on set and they call action when you're doing a fight scene, every once in a while it's almost like forgetting your lines, and I completely forget the movements. And I think it's just the kind of the rush of doing something so explosive on set. It can be at times just a little bit overwhelming, and you almost blank out. But for the most part, I find, because I came from being a dancer, I am able to really settle into a scene more easily if it is physical. Something about it just kind of gets me out of my head. It gets me into my body and makes me feel like I'm actually there.
Yeah.
And that's helped me throughout my career, connecting to characters, no matter what they are.
Cool. Thanks very much for talking to us. I know you've got a busy afternoon, so I hope you have a great rest of the show here at Supanova.
Thanks, Leif. I appreciate it.